the most powerful thing that you can do to help reduce the wage gap is to not accept less than your worth. Hey, I'm Mandi Woodruff-Santos. I'm the co-host and founder of the Brown Ambition podcast, and I'm here with In the Know. If I had to define the gender wage gap, I would define it as the financial manifestation of sexism in our country. Literally, when you're a woman, you will earn less than a man just because you were born a woman. Totally out of your control and completely unfair. When you look at the gender wage gap and you actually drill into it, you see that who's most impacted are Black and Hispanic women, hands down. You talk about a woman sitting across from an employer and being looked down upon or seen as not worthy of the same salary as a white man. Try being a Black or brown woman sitting in that same seat. You may have the double negative impact of that gender stereotype and the racial stereotype working against you. My biggest tip for getting more money from your job is asking for it. Now, I know that can be scary, so take a deep breath. If you're panicking and your palms are sweaty and you're stressed out, then you're doing it right. If you're going in there cool as a cucumber, chances are you're not asking for enough money. You should be asking for what you think you're worth. Now, you don't want to go in there with some crazy high salary. You have to do your research. See what folks in your industry are making in your specific city and state. And it's really important to start negotiating from your very first job, because that first salary is going to be the foundation of the rest of your career compensation. Now, when you're negotiating for your salary, don't just stop at the salary. What about those other benefits? I'm talking about flexible work from home policies. I'm talking about student loan forgiveness or student loan cancellation. Do they have things like tuition reimbursement? Will they invest in your skills? A lot of employers are willing to offer flexible childcare arrangements for their employees. This may not be cash in your pocket to pay for childcare, but it could mean they're willing to let you leave early so that you can pick up your kid from daycare. You may also have access to something called the Dependent Care FSA, where you can actually use pre-tax dollars to cover the costs of your daycare expenses. Hands down, the best way to earn more is to quit your job and go work somewhere else. This is how I 10x'd my net worth in less than 5 years. Believe me, quitting is the wonderful way to build wealth that nobody talks about. In fact, all the time I have job hopped over the past 5 to 10 years of my career, I don't think I've ever gotten less than a 30% raise when I have quit and moved on to a new employer. There is a lot of power there. As a manager, I can tell you that the minute that I was hired and I was put in a position to hire at my job, the fact that I am a woman of color, it made me want to elevate and help young people of color, and especially women, help them rise through the ranks. That just shows you the power of having more diversity at the upper echelons of companies too. We need more women as managers, more people of color as senior directors, more women and people of color in all of these high-level roles, because that is where the power lays. The fact of the matter and the uncomfortable truth for women to understand is that when you walk into a negotiation or you walk into a job, they may think of you less than a man simply because of the way that society and gender norms and stereotypes have infested our brains for all of time, it feels like. But until they're willing to have those tough conversations internally, I really don't think the wage gap is going to be going anywhere.